I'll start this now, and then I'll just mute everybody. And mahalo for everybody being here. Chris Sweeney, I don't know who you are, but mahalo for joining us today. Your name looks like somebody I grew up with, so whoop whoop. And I am Kamaile. I am Wellness with Mana. I am a Lomi Lomi practitioner, as well as a Hawaiian health practitioner. I've been in the healing arts for 18 plus years, and I come inviting you and mahaloing you for being here to learn about something that radically shifted my point of view of how we're really approaching health. And it took me a moment to actually adopt the concept of what we're going to be going into, only because I've been taught to move from a really indigenous and very organic point of view, that some of the words that I was learning, such as biohacking and nutrigenomics, and maybe why you're actually on this call today, felt very foreign to me as somebody who was quote unquote schooled in the way of knowing and understanding healing from a very indigenous point of view. But when I figured out the science behind what we're going to go in today, I was floored, and I'm still floored. I'm still moved. This is when I call my business is called Wellness with Mana, and when I speak about Mana, I speak about the life force energy. And when I show you how the life force energy of these indigenous herbs that have been known for centuries to heal man, for thousands and thousands of years, how they all unified and came together to marry in a specific blend of a formulation that actually helps us to actually turn on our body instead of just supplementing our body. Man, it was powerful, and it still is. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to do something fun, and I cut it down a little bit, so we'll have a little bit more time for for discussion at the end of the at the share. So should be fun. Okay. So let's minimize this and let's play. So aloha and welcome. Again, I'm Kamaile with Wellness with Mana. I speak to Mana as a form of understanding and coming to understand energy that resides in all things. And when we couple that and take in the right Mana that is right for our bodies, we can really make a difference in our health and in our wellness and well-being. So this has always been a quote of mine for a really long time. Let's build wellness rather than treating disease. And honestly, who can raise their hand? I mean, it seems like it's a younger and younger generation that are afflicted with autoimmune disease, with, it feels like every 1 in 3 people is almost every 1 in 1 person affected by cancer nowadays. I mean, there's so many ailments and illnesses and disease that seem to be bombarding us. And why is that? Is that because we're all stressed out a little bit more? Is that because we are not eating the right foods? Is that because our foods are being bombarded by chemicals and processes that are beyond sometimes our control, that we are forced to eat because there's too much month at the end of the money? The cell phone towers that are going up, I mean, the pressures of just quote unquote keeping up with the Joneses and living an Instagram worthy life. All of these are contributing factors to what may not seem as stress showing up in your life, or it might be showing up in your life, but it's certainly aging us more quickly than we have to. And that is what is so unique and why we're going to dive into some of this information today. So I'm going to get a little sciencey on you, but I'm going to hopefully break it down in such a way that you'll understand good guy, bad guy, and what we have to do and what choices are in front of us. Okay, so we are LifeVantage. Most of us that invited you here today, and I certainly linked arms with this company. I'm so proud to stand and with this company and present this to you, as are the people that invited you. We are literally at the forefront of nutrigenomics, and we're going to explore what that means in a second. But basically, we're taking natural compounds, and we're taking nutrients, and we're synergistically blending them, like I'd mentioned, to bring a certain formula that actually is now known as the new wave of our health industry, and that is nutrigenomics, that is biohacking, because we are taking our choice back into our hands, and we are able to get healthier quicker with more potent tools. So we're going to take a look today at the core of it all, right? Let's go back to the basics. I talked about aging a little bit. We're going to actually address the 3 theories of aging, but we're going to address it from a way that is probably unique to something that you have maybe never heard of before. And it's in the way of actually, like I said, activating our body's ability to turn on our switches to actually do what we were normally gifted to do as we were born into this world, as our God-given right to actually fight off illness, fight off disease, handle stress in the ways that, we were when we were little kids, right? But all those stresses that I talked about earlier are actually adding to our stress, something that is the bad guy on a cellular level. So we may not know it. It may show up later in life like, oh, how's those wrinkles? Or, oh, I'm not feeling as good. Or, ow, that really hurts. Where did that ache and pain come from? Or, oh my gosh, I'm at the doctor's one more time. Like, these things are part of the aging process, but they definitely don't have to be felt either, one, as quickly as they do show up in our lives, like I was mentioning, or two, they don't have to be showing up with the symptoms that are so just perplexing our everyday quality of life. So we have come up, our company rather, has come up with ways of actually turning back, if you will, the hands of time and really approaching aging through a unique way of combining these herbs, like I said, through nutrigenomics, through biohacking. And we have come up with a tri-synergizer. So we're going to look into that today. So our first theory of aging is what we know as oxidative stress. So I mentioned this a couple times already. Basically, at a cellular level, we are experiencing this stress that is bombarding us. And our body, as we age, lacks the ability to actually detoxify or neutralize these harmful effects that are bombarding us on a biochemical level. And we're starting to see things that, show up in our aches and pains, like I mentioned, or illness and disease, just the foggy brain, cannot get your body off the couch most days because you're just fatigued or stressed out. All of these things actually are the root cause of that. We know most likely is what we know as oxidative stress. So let's look at oxidative stress as if in this picture here, it's an apple. Okay, God-given cell, beautiful, healthy cell. It's a beautiful apple. Oxygen definitely is helping us to live and survive. We wouldn't be able to be here without it. However, considering that this is a theory of aging that they've known for many, many years now, they can show that just like an apple sits on a counter for too long, or even if you cut it open within minutes, honestly, it starts to turn brown. That's because oxygen starts to hit it. So what's going on cellularly in our body is that when those oxygen molecules actually are not paired up with another oxygen molecule, it's what we know as a free radical. Okay, so these free radicals start to actually find like, hey, where's my mate? Where's my pair? And they actually try to actually bombard our cells. And so they start to attack our cellular structure, leaving it in this kind of demise state in the middle here. What we don't want to happen is actually the complete demise of our cellular health and leaving us with either our cells splitting off, which we know to be a cancerous situation, or if they actually die off, which we know to affect our cognitive abilities and, anything from let's see here, ADHD to, what was I going to say? Alzheimer's, things like that. We're trying to avoid that and actually take us back to the healthy stage so that what we need to do to combat these quote unquote bad guys, these free radicals that are attacking us, sextillion amount of free radicals now are attacking us daily on a regular basis. We want to actually give our bodies a fighting chance to look and act and perform more like this healthy cell by eradicating some of that free radical damage that is happening, whether you know it or not. So if you look at oxidative stress, you can actually go to the National Institute of Health's library, pubmed.gov, pubmed.gov. Oxidative stress, and if you type up oxidative stress and autism, oxidative stress and sleep apnea, Lyme disease, COPD, any of these, you'll find that it is correlated, and not only correlated, but probably the root cause is what they're noting is at all of these over 250 illnesses and diseases. So this is where I ask you to do your research. If you have something that is coming at you genetically that you thought that you were predisposed to and that you're just going to have to deal with, epigenetics tells us the science of actually choice and making a difference on our bodies tells us that we have the ability, we now know we have the ability to make choices that actually can reverse some of the stresses that are happening to our body, therefore eliminating oxidative stress. So as a nutrigenomics coach and as a health coach, as somebody who's been in Hawaiian health for a really long time, this is something that I've been preaching for a really long time. Of course, activate your immune systems, please, by eating right, by taking in foods that are rich in protein and amino acids, that are, you're eating the colorful rainbow where your antioxidants are going to come from. Cruciferous foods are certainly high in vitamins and nutrients that we need. Sulfur-rich foods are certainly ones that actually activate this pathway that we're talking about that causes, not causes, but it is the antidote to this oxidative stress. Okay, so we can do all these. I love helping people with this aspect, but we realize through research again that eating enough antioxidants is certainly not enough. These are some of the statistics that you would have to do in order to combat the sextillion amount of free radicals daily that are happening, as that assault is happening to us on, like I said, the daily. So it's almost like putting out a fire, a blazing fire of inflammation going on in our body with a Dixie cup of water. This 1-to-1 ratio of one antioxidants, you take, 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C perhaps, or you eat enough, 11 pounds of blueberries, you're only going to cancel out 1-to-1 ratio, one antioxidant to one free radical. Sextillion, we cannot eat enough. So we cannot even supplement enough is what they're telling us, now. So what is the answer? Where's the good guy in all of this? Okay, the good guy is understanding nutrigenomics. It's activating. This is the exciting part, guys. You get up and dance. Woo! We are able, through science and through research, they have caught up with telling us in layman's terms, basically, what we've known for thousands and thousands of years of what was going on, but science is now showing us that when we can talk to our cells directly, not only, going through the back door through nutrients and hoping that we get enough nutrients throughout the day, but actually directly going to the source and talking to those cells through activating our cell signaling pathways, guess what? We ring the doorbell, the cell lets us in, This little yellow pill that, you know, basically represents these herbal ingredients that I'm about to share with you, goes in, talks to the cell, turns on the light switch, if you will, to both upregulate, it's like playing a piano, upregulate and downregulate our body's ability to produce our own antioxidants, but we're upregulating and downregulating our genetic code. So we have the ability to fight against what we thought might be coming at us, that we would have to, you know, be victims to, right? This is huge, and it's making huge differences. This pathway that we're activating is actually called the NRF2 pathway. It is super exciting. I can't tell you the name of it because I don't know it that well. I love science, but I don't know it that way. But it's a long, crazy name. NRF2 is its shortened little scientific name to tell you that's the pathway that lowers, when we activate it, it can lower our oxidative stress. So look at these ingredients, guys, all natural: turmeric, milk thistle, green tea, bacopa, ashwagandha. Hello, do we not have that in our gardens? Do we not have that in our cupboards? Do we not already take that? Okay, that's great if you do, right? I was doing that. I was like, you cannot, I was literally hands crossed. I'm like, you cannot tell me anything. I already got all this in my garden or inside my thing, or I go up the valley, I know where to pick this. I'm going to go for a glass of wine and listen to you folks, but I'm not going to really listen, you know. But when I heard that when all of these come together in a microdose specific blend, that it activates our body's ability to turn on that switch 1,800 times more effective than any one of these individually, whoo, you got my attention. I started to listen. So not only does it, obviously it's proven to reduce our oxidative stress by 40% within 30 days, up to 70% within 120 days. But it increases, because it's increasing our antioxidants, right? It increases our master antioxidants, superoxide dismutase, catalase, and glutathione. Look at that, by over 300%. It's crazy. It's actually proven to extend male mice life. We couldn't do that study on a human life because, you know, we wouldn't both live long enough to understand it. So that is the only all-natural supplement has actually been documented and published in PubMed to extend male life by 7 years. So when we talk about turning back the hands of time, no joke. These are key tools that are giving our bodies the ability to not only live healthier, but longer lives. Okay, so let's move on. The next theory of aging is in our mitochondria. Okay, so what is mitochondria? Mitochondria is actually producing 95% of our body's energy. It's like basically the engine block of our cells. If we are actually about 10% mitochondria in weight alone, so that's huge. So that tells you how much mitochondria is actually running through our body and gives us enough energy, not only to, you know, just survive during the day, but actually just to detoxify, to eat, to, you know, the process of mastication, the process of, you know, thinking, our organs completing their functions that they're trying to do. Our life quality depends on mitochondria. But guess what? When we are 20, we start to age, and our mitochondria starts to decline, and we start to see illnesses. You can actually look up mitochondrial dysfunction on PubMed.gov and find out that there are many symptoms that might even be some of your symptoms that are related to a decline of mana, if you will, of a mitochondria within our bodies. So when we, again, all natural products get to lift up that energy and actually increase the production as well as the biogenesis of our mitochondria, as well as the efficacy of our mitochondria, because its vibrancy or its mana is more bountiful, it's bouncing back, we are able to combat, again, the second theory of aging. I love that it improves the sleep quality. So I like to share this point. Okay, if we are bombarding ourselves with things, you know, drinking too much wrong things, or eating the wrong things, we're, you know, stressed out, you know, we're depressed because of this isolation, whatever it is that we're fighting against, right? our body has to actually repair that at the end of the night. When we are putting back the tools into our systems and we're able to repair on a constant, guess what? Our sleep is better because we don't have to work as hard at night when we're quote unquote sleeping. We're actually getting more sleep, which is in turn helping us to even repair even further. So it's helping our cognitive, our brain health, supports healthy circulatory and cardiovascular systems. Do you know anybody that could benefit from improving their heart rate, sleep apnea, you know, anything cardiovascular? There's so many ailments and illnesses. We can certainly think of at least one. I know it. And the last theory of aging, gang, is the NAD. So this is pretty much new news on the nutrigenomic biohacking front. This is really amazing. We approach it again through an all natural approach of actually increasing our NAD. So what's NAD? NAD is actually a molecule. It's found in the cell. It does its own little job on a normal. But when scientists and researchers actually started looking at why do we age, they went down the rabbit hole of actually intermittent fasting, which a lot of us are familiar with. But then they took it a step further and did caloric restriction. Now, I'm talking 500 to 800 calories per day for long periods of time. Most of us, that is like one snack or maybe one meal, right? But when you're talking about one meal for months and months and months on end, what happened was NAD, they noticed that NAD production, we went into survival mode, if you will. NAD production increased. It ended up feeding what is now known as the family of sirtuins. Sirtuins actually are known as our guardian angel or our CEO of our cell. They can go inside that cell. They pull apart 26 feet of DNA sometimes, repair what is defunct, put it all back together as if it was a puzzle. Then they clean up the receptors that have gone haywire on the outside of the cell, and they actually send the cell on its merry way. Some of the researchers that did initial research on this for decades hope to live to the age of 120 in a 56-year-old body and mind. That is amazing. Guess what? That is just, we have to look forward to not only healthier quality of life, but maybe a longer, lifespan. That would be my goal, especially, having baby later in life. So I love that it supports mood and motivation. Who doesn't need that? Especially during this COVID time. Healthy, maintains healthy cholesterol, boosts mental and physical energy again, and again, longevity. So gang, we are no longer supplementing our deficiencies. We're no longer chasing our tails. We're literally activating our pathways to control the aging and the healing processes. And that's a quote from Dr. Brett Brimhall. He's not only a friend of ours here in Kailua, but also a member of our board of directors on the medical board. But he serves as only one of 2,000 medical professionals that have came to see the light of this amazing way that we're combating aging, and have linked arms also with LifeVantage to share the news, because they can help more people than just a one-on-one consultations in their clinics. Basically, at the end of the day, what are we left with, right? We're not taking our surfboard with us. We're not taking our house with us. We're not taking our car. We're taking our memories with us. And hopefully those memories are in health. And hopefully those memories are not riddled with pain or disease at the end of our days. Those are what is precious and priceless. So I ask you, is it worth it to invest? Is it worth it to look into just trying this? Hello? I said it was worth it, and I'm feeling the benefits a year and a half later still. We're LifeVantage, we're biohacking, we take it very seriously. We don't have a huge plethora of products, but we have very specific ones that are helping many, many people out. We went over the trifecta, the anti-aging today. We also take our microbiome extremely seriously, because that is known as our second brain. So we have a probiotic, a prebiotic, which is our soil before the probiotics. We actually take that into our weight management system, because we're approaching health in our weight by actually getting our gut health in check and the inflammation down. We are really amazingly doing well with our nootropics, which is called our Axio. It's smart energy. It's all of the science that I talked about, but it's specifically targeting your brain so that you can get away from that fog. You can have more energy without any crashes. I mean, literally, I could make a whole business just on selling the Axio, and I do. And then, of course, our skin being our largest organ, we want to put in things that are not chemical laden, but rather very not only healthy, but smart medicine. So this is smart medicine for our skin, goes down to our fourth derm, as well as hair care system, bringing back hair where sometimes, you know, all this stress and ailment is affecting our hair. That's hair, teeth, eyes. Take a look at those. You'll get a good health reading. And then, of course, anything that breathes oxygen. Our pets are such a huge part of our mental and emotional well-being, as well as a huge part of our family. So anybody who has any animal that breathes oxygen, they're going to benefit from reducing their oxidative stress. And that is it. I just basically kind of went through, you know, the slides of it. I think what I'm gonna share real quick that I left out is just this real quick, and this is how you get started on savings. Let's actually take a look at this. Oops, shift. Sorry. There we go. The Protanum Tri-Synergizer that we talked about is $127.99 a month. Please let go of just one Starbucks coffee a day or whatever it is that you have, you know, a love for. That is $4.17 a day, because this, I pretty much promised you, is a better investment in your health regimen than anything that you could ever do, other than love more. You know, I'm a pink bubble kind of girl. But this is definitely a way that you can bundle and save. You can save up to 30% on all of our products, anywhere from a silver pack, you know, for maybe you and for a couple months, or you and a loved one, to a more of a family pack, and or just something that you want to get started on biohacking your whole system. So those are ways that you can get started, and 60% of our customers end up wanting to share this with family and friends. And so in this, they get a starter kit so that they can share samples, because technically we're always looking for motivated people to share. This product does not do well on shelves. We've already tried that route. And this is the way we went. We went to a direct sales because there's a story, because we're connecting with people, and because hopefully the person that invited you loves you to pieces, and you feel that in your heart that they want to make a difference, honestly, in your health. That and if you're that type of person that wants to share as well, we have opportunities that you can join and have fun with us. So anyway, boop, boop, boop. Anybody have any questions? It's 3:01 on the dot. I reduced it and I still talk too much. But I do this. That's so funny. I do host this call every Thursday. So if there's somebody else that's also wanting or needing this information that you know of, please, oh, thank you, I love you too. Please have them join us, have them listen in. That's all we're doing, is we're sharing. So you get to take upon your kuleana is to do your part and invest in yourself. So anybody have any questions? Kopi Ilani, do you have any questions today? She's like, which pen are we using, Auntie? Yay, you're so welcome. Aloha. So nice to meet you, Sydney. And I'm glad to know that there's other Lomi therapists out there that are, you know, sharing the good work. And this is a tool that certainly I wouldn't pass up even as a Hawaiian health practitioner. It took me a little bit to get over my own ego and be like, oh my gosh, what am I sharing? But it is been wonderful as far as changing people's lives and their health. So, yay. Yay.
Mahalo for sharing.
Oh, you're so welcome. All right, guys, if there's not any other questions, then I'll let you go. And ahui ho. Okay, bye-bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.